right, so we want to talk about today how to become, or for a foreign trained dentist, how to get licensed and be able to practice in Canada. And I will take your questions. I'm just going to get through this first so that what the event mainly is for, is to understand the process. Um, and if you do have any vagueness in the process, then I'm going to clarify it. In addition to that, at the end, we'll have a Q&A. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. And also, we will have another event for the AFK. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, let's get this. So I'm Ahmed Hafez. I'm a dentist. I graduated from Damascus, University of Damascus in Syria. But I was raised in Canada, and then I came back and did my NDEB process and was able to pass and complete it in one go. I've been working as a dentist in Canada probably since 2014 now, when I got my license. But I've been teaching this for about 10 years now. So I've never stopped thinking about AFK. I've always been AFK. Usually people, when they're done the AFK and done the process, that's it. They detach from it and they're done. But I've always been in this journey with all the students every cycle since then. So I have a lot of experience in it and I enjoy doing it, and that's why I keep doing it. So hopefully we'll get to sharing. Maybe in the AFK event I could share the journey of how we developed that. Also, we have the YouTube channel, so please, if you have you'll find a lot of value and answers in there. So a lot of our YouTube videos, like we have the ADAT, why they're switching, the university switching to ADAT. A lot of people were asking about the specialty thing, and then I released a video just a few weeks ago. So we have a lot of answers in our YouTube channel as well. Okay. So what are we covering? How to become a licensed dentist in Canada for a foreign trained dentist. We'll also talk about it for, a dentist locally. We're going to talk about the direct pathway and the university pathway. The, ultimate question, which one is better, right? So everybody asks me which one is better, and, the one that works is the one that's better. So, but what is the NDEB and how to apply? Some people are saying that in the form as well. When to apply and which AFK to take. So that's probably the more important part, is to understand the timeline of things. Okay. When do I need to start this to actually get that done? Okay. And upcoming events, as we're mentioning, we have an AFK orientation, Feb 3rd. Okay. So Omar is linking that in the group, in the chat. And also we have an ADAT orientation on Feb 10. You don't really need the ACJ orientation at this point, but it's it's too early for you guys, but it's on the same day. Oop, I went there. Which button do I have? Okay, that's the button. Okay, so let's explain how to become a licensed dentist in Canada. So this is our foreign trained dentist here. Okay, now for our foreign trained dentist to become licensed to actually start working, they have to go to what we call a provincial dental regulatory authority. So what that means is they have to get a license from this body. Okay. Now each province has a different body. In Ontario, for example, okay, in Ontario, they're called the RCDSO. Okay. So you have to go to the RCDSO and try to get your license from them. They're going to ask for documents. Okay. Great. So why can't you just go do that? Why can't you, the foreign trained dentist, go to the RCDSO or to whatever regulatory authority there is in each province and just get your license? Because the RCDSO and all the ones that are like it will ask for something called the NDEB certificate. So they'll ask for something called the NDEB certificate. Okay. So what is the NDEB certificate? Where do you get that from? And that you have to go, obviously, to the NDEB. So a lot of times I ask people, where do you think you get your license from? you know, and they tell me NDEB, but it's not. They're actually, they don't work. The only thing, like, they're not related as much. Each organization does its own thing. Okay. So now you have to go to the NDEB and say, hey, I need this certificate. How do I get it? Okay. How do I get this NDEB certificate? And the way you get that NDEB certificate is, does anyone know? What is the exam that gives you the NDEB certificate?
ASCII?
Okay, good. Thank you. Yes, you're right, ASCII. Um, so the exam that will give you the NDEB certificate is the ASCII. Okay. So you have to do the ASCII. Okay. These are the provincial dental regulatory authorities. So each province has its own. So if you register in Ontario, just because you're allowed to work in Ontario doesn't mean you're allowed to work in British Columbia. So you have to do a separate registration with the the College of Dental Surgeons of British Columbia, right? So these are for the license. Now, what's a little difference here is each province has a regulatory authority. Okay, so you can see here each province has a regulatory authority, but the NDEB is national. It's one organization for all of Canada. Okay, so there's only one NDEB. All right. So they give you your OSCE, then you go and, sorry, you finish your OSCE there, they give you your certificate, then you could take that certificate to whatever licensing body you want, right? So what are they going to ask for? The NDEB certificate. They might, this is the RCDSO, for example, English test, some university documents from where you graduated. Okay, here is the NDEB certificate. Okay, one day you're going to have this with your name on it, the university you graduated from, and then you take that to your licensing body. It's kind of automatic, so you don't have to actually take it to the licensing body. But and you know, you could kind of try to envision your dream if this is something you want to do, that one day you will be in that spot. Okay. Um, so what did we say? How to get the NDEB certificate? So just repeating a bit. So how do we get that NDEB certificate? We said we have to pass the OSCE. It's called now virtual OSCE just because it's done on a computer. The OSCE exam, the virtual OSCE, is a 200 question exam where 150 case-based questions, like similar to ACJ style, and there's 50 MCQ regular questions. Okay. Doesn't matter right now, but I'm just kind of giving you an idea of what that is, right? It's not difficult. Okay. Most likely you'll pass. Once you go through the other exams, OSCE becomes easy. Trust me on that one. Okay. So the OSCE is a combination of, you know, a bit of ACJ stuff and AFK stuff. So and the passing rate is high. Okay. So why not just go take the OSCE? Well, to take the OSCE, we go back to what I was saying here. Why can't you now? Now they're telling you to take the OSCE. So go take the OSCE and then you're done, right? No, not anyone could just take the OSCE. You have to be a graduate and of an accredited program to take the OSCE. That is why you guys cannot take the OSCE. Okay, so to take the OSCE exam, you have to be a graduate from an accredited program. Okay, sorry, an accredited program here. Okay, now what the NDEB did is, oh, let's do something because they need more dentists here. Let's allow foreign trained dentists that are graduates from a non-accredited program. We give them a pathway to get to the OSCE. Okay. So graduate of a non-accredited dental program and complete. So to take the OSCE, you either have to be an accredited dental program, like from the US or from Canada or from Australia, or from a non-accredited program, but you completed the equivalency process so that they could make sure you're at the same level of a graduate from an accredited program. Okay. I'm getting a bit random questions. How many hours per day to study for AFK? I talk a lot about that kind of stuff, so it's not per hours, like, but I don't want to go into, I'll do it at the end in the Q&A, okay? So if you're an international trained dentist, you're going through, you might be from a non-accredited dental program. Like if you're a graduate from, let's say, India or from Syria or from even UK or Germany, that's all non-accredited, okay? You have to go through the NDEB process, then you could take the OSCE. However, some international trained dentists, they're already accredited programs like Australia or the US, still considered international. So they don't have to do the NDEB process, they equivalency process. They just go straight to OSCE. Okay. So far about this, is this clear? Any confusion here? Any questions? All right. So hopefully it's okay. Mexico is non-accredited, correct? All right. Brazil non-accredited. So the only accredited programs, I think I have it here. There you go. What are accredited dental programs? Canada, American School, Australian, New Zealand, and Ireland. I'm not sure how they choose, so I'm not going to get to that, so, but that's what's accredited. Okay. So that means if you are coming to this event today, hoping you want to learn about the NDEB process, equivalency process, if you're from one of these schools, if you're from a graduate from one of these schools in these countries, your life just became a lot easier because you don't have to do the NDEB equivalency process. You just could go straight to OSCE, apply, and you go to OSCE. Okay. Someone is asking, what about Philippines? Is it on the list? No. So it's non-accredited. You have to go through the NDEB equivalency process. What about Romania? Is it on the list? No. So you have to go through the NDEB equivalency process. Brazil, is it on the list? Okay. Yes, we're getting there step by step, right? Okay. So let's get to, okay. So now, just to give you a little overview, in school here, which is like in Canadian dental schools, what they have to do is they have to go through an undergrad of 4 years, meaning like, let's say they go into science and they do 4 years of science. They have to get consistently high scores every year, every test. Okay. Then they apply to dental school, and that's another 4 years. Then they could go and become a dentist and do their OSCE. So you could see education here in Canada for becoming a dentist is at least like around 8 years, and it's expensive. Okay. So they actually have a lot of struggle. This is why you have to look at this process as kind of a luxury for you too, right? But a lot of countries, dentistry, where, let's say they're non-accredited, could be 4 to 5 years straight out of high school. Okay. They actually have to go through a lot. Some dentists don't like that there's an equivalency process. They don't like it. Like, how come we had to go through this 8-year process, spend 200 to 300,000 in debt, and then you're letting people in from 5-year programs that could come here and just become dentists right away, right? Like, so you have to understand to become a dentist here in Canada, it is a struggle. Okay, it's tough to become a dentist or a doctor. It's very competitive, very tough, very expensive as well. You're going to be in debt. That's the regular path for dentists here to do it, right? So when people start, why am I telling you this? When people start saying, oh, this NDEB process, it's too tough, it's a money grab, or look, if you end up paying 80,000, you're still got a deal versus the people that are domestic that live here. Okay. So I want to change the mindset to be in an appreciative way, that they open this pathway, that there is a way to do it without university. Okay. So understand, and this is all to what? To become a general dentist. Okay. So if you think about it, a general dentist feels like a specialist here. They did 8 years of university. Okay. So that's why if you are a specialist back home, you know, you should enjoy the concept of just being a general dentist here. It's, you know, I would say it's a good position to be in. Okay. Now let's look about at the process. Okay. Everybody wants to go to the NDEB process. Let's do it. So if you're in a non-accredited dental program, the first thing you have to do is your application. Okay. Then you have to take your first exam. I'm going to tell you why I left it this way. Okay. So you do your application to the NDEB, you do your exam. Let's say it's going to be the AFK exam. Then after that, you have to decide which pathway you want to go, or you try to do both at the same time. It's okay. So you either do the university pathway or you continue with more exams pathway. Both of them will lead you to OSCE if you do them and pass them. Okay. So this we call the direct pathway. Why? Because there's no university. Okay. This we call the university pathway, where you have to go to a university. Okay. So let me give a little bit more detail into this now. To do the direct pathway, everybody please now here pay this close attention. You have to apply to the NDEB. This application is a test in itself. Okay. You have to apply and get approved. It's tough. It takes time. So please do it as soon as you can. Then you have to do the AFK exam. Okay. Then once you do the AFK exam, you pass that. You have to do the ACJ exam. Then you pass that. Then you have to do the NDECC examination. Then you are done the equivalency process. Once you're done that equivalency process, then you're allowed to take the OSCE. Okay. Now let's say you're like, well, I want to do the university pathway. Okay. So some universities still accept AFK, but in 2025, almost, I think only one is left, but almost all of them are switching to a different exam. And that exam is called the Adat exam. It's a US exam. To do the Adat exam, you have to apply to the ADA, which is in the US. Okay. You do the ADAT exam, then you could use that to get into universities, to apply to universities. Then once you finish universities, you become accredited, then you could take your virtual OSCE. So I think what I'm trying to say here is that we're at the right moment where the division is kind of happening here. So it used to be that the AFK was the exam that takes you to universities. But now the universities, most of them are not accepting AFK and they want ADAT. Okay. You could look into each one. We have actually a blog post and a video talking about each university and what its requirements are in terms of ADAT and stuff like that. So you could see that. We could post that for you. For universities, do you need PR? So I could take some questions about specifically this stuff. Yes. So most universities require PR. Usually it's they need a PR. Okay. Is there any questions about these two pathways? Okay, so I'm going to summarize them. I'm going to squeeze them a little. So AFK, so you apply to NDEB, you might apply to ADA. You're going to take your AFK or ADAT, and I have it set up in our courses that to take both AFK and ADAT. It just seems like the wise thing to do when you're taking the AFK. Just do the ADAT as well, because you're already prepped for it, you know? And then once you do that, you could go through both, try both pathways, university and or the direct, ACJ and NDECC. Does the direct pathway need PR? So the direct pathway doesn't actually need a PR, right? What does that mean? I'm going to touch on a strategy afterwards, but you could actually do the AFK and ACJ. You could study them from back home, come to Canada, do them, and go back. You see what I mean? But eventually, you're going to have to work on your immigration process, right? Okay. Yes. So someone is asking about the application. Just be patient. You stay here with the event, and I'm going to get to all of these things. I have a plan. You have to trust my plan. Okay. So I'm going to get to those details, right? First, I want to give you an overview of the whole process. Okay. So you might now ask, the question I want to answer now is the question of which pathway, what's the main difference? Okay. The direct pathway may cost you around 50 to 80,000. And it might take you 2 to 3 years to complete. I would say the university pathway is going to cost you obviously more because now you're paying for university. It could be anywhere from 150 to 250,000, and it might take you 3 to 4 years. Okay. So why would someone want to do the university pathways? Okay. From all my like hundreds of consultations I've done, I could tell you why people want it, and I could tell you what I think makes sense to want it, right? So what I hear from a lot of candidates is that the people that usually want to go to university are fresh graduates, so recently graduated, and they kind of feel uncomfortable working. They have, you know, they just graduated from back home. They're young. They just want to go back to university. They don't know yet the work world, so they feel more comfortable to going to university. So what I kind of talk to them about is it a fear? Are you afraid of going into the real world, or is it because you actually think you need the university, you know? So these are some things that, you know, our team members, if you call in, they'll help you understand, okay? So what I think is reasonable for the university, okay, is if you want to specialize in Canada, so let's say you want to get into a specialty, okay? Why do I recommend the university pathway? Okay, so if you applied to UFT and you got in and you did the university pathway and you finished it and you did your virtual OSCE and you got your license and you became working dentist, then you said, okay, well, you want to go apply to UFT for ortho or endo. Now, UFT is going to look at all these resumes, the department, and it's going to say, it's going to prefer, or I think they're going to prefer people that are graduated from its own university. Does that make sense? Versus someone that just did the direct pathway that has no relations to the university. So it's pretty much like if you really want to become a specialist, then maybe that there's a justification to take the university. However, I would say in Canada, there's one thing I know that foreign trained dentists kind of miss. It's the practicing dentistry here is different than back home. Back home, you know, the specialist was kind of like a better general dentist. In Canada, if you're a specialist, you're only a specialist. So you could only do those procedures usually, right? And as a general dentist in Canada, you could actually take a lot of courses that could expand your scope. So you could learn how to do implants. You could learn how to do impacted surgeries. You could learn how to do ortho. You could learn how to do perio surgery. You could learn how to do, you know, if you want to use those the microscope with endo. All that you could do in courses and learn it and apply it as a general dentist. The only things you cannot do is probably like major surgeries. You don't want to like do an operatory room thing, right? So this is why I say aim for becoming a general dentist here, then, you know, try to look at what your options are after that. Okay. So you'll find this chart on our website if you want to like kind of see a flow chart. So let's look at it again. You're applying to the NDEB. You want to take the AFK, pass it, then you have the option of doing the direct pathway or the university pathway. But remember, you need now ADAT to go into some universities, and it's becoming more universities are asking for the ADAT. Then you take your board exams, then you get certificate and license. Okay, so our ADAT course is an add-on to the AFK course. So the way we present it is in an efficient way. So for example, let's say you take, this is the way when our courses are starting, you have the AFK March 2024. Obviously we'll have one in September. That's how our timelines work. And then we have the ADAT, is our first ADAT now starting in Feb 2024. But the way we do it is that our ADAT course is designed to supplement the AFK course, okay? So you study shorter in once, and then you take both exams. So if you do, let's say 6 months of 5 to 6 months of AFK, someone is scribbling on my screen. Sorry, please. Okay, 5 to 6 months AFK. And then all you need to do is like another 6 weeks of ADAT, and then you'll be prepped for the ADAT exam. So we try to do it in an efficient way for our students, okay? All right. So what kind of obstacles do you have? Now, someone was asking about, again, we'll get to the QA after, right? So what are the obstacles that usually candidates have in their way, right? In the way of getting their dentistry here done, right? For foreign trained dentists. So the first obstacle might be knowledge. Now, don't underestimate this, okay? Just because you practiced 20 years, 10 years, doesn't matter. It's even actually worse because you have something that you're lacking in knowledge. You forgot your university stuff. So the AFK would be for the, no, sorry, that would be for the Feb 2025 exam, okay? Yes, a general dentist in Canada can do implants. You have to take a course, right? So the knowledge aspect that's why we have these courses. We know what comes in these exams, and we'll train you so that you could pass it based on the standards of the NDEB. So don't underestimate this. You only have, by the way, 3 attempts for each of these, AFK and ACJ. If you fail 3 attempts, you have no more attempts. You can't do them. So you lost everything, okay? Even ortho you could do. Guys, can we, you're all scattered. Can we stick to the topic and then then get to the questions, okay? So that's a good question. Is the NDEB equivalency equal to the DDS? Because I was talking about direct and indirect. So the direct process, when you say equivalent, work-wise, it's the same. You get a license, you're allowed to work in Canada. That's it. But it's different if you go to the US or if you want to go to Australia. Of course, you don't have a degree from a Canadian university. You only have a license, right? So it's equivalent in Canada for working, right? But it's not equal, as like you're not getting the same degree, right? If you go to a university, you're getting their degree. If you go direct pathway, it'll say your actual, like where you graduated from on your NDEB certificate. Is that clear? Okay. So I'm just trying to mention here why people, try to go through this process and what's the obstacles in their way. Because from my experience, this actually matters here. Yeah. So again, knowledge, don't underestimate it. You only have 3 attempts for these exams. You don't want to lose time and money trying and failing and then losing 6 months and all that. Okay, clear. So 3 attempts for AFK and 4 ACJ. No, 3 for AFK and 3 for ACJ. Okay, so 3 for AFK and then another 3 for ACJ. What I say is you don't want to get to your second attempt. You don't want to get there. You want to try, like, you don't want to get to your third attempt at least. You want to try to make sure if it's not clear on your first, it's for sure clear on your second. The next obstacle that people will have is money. Of course, some people will be converting their currency. Okay, so here's 2 ways that we help, or we try to link you to help as well, is there are loans for specifically internationally trained dentists. Okay, that's the link that Omar sent in the group, which is in the chat, which is the link to Windmill. They provide a 25,000 loan for AFK and ACJ steps. Okay, or actually, I think it's just for AFK. Then if you pass, you get another one from CIBC. Then there's a pathway for it. You watch that video and learn it, so that if you need that financial help, okay? And then the CIBC will also, once they see you like on that path, they could provide you a loan of up to 100,000 to complete the pathway, the direct pathway. Now, what we help with is convenient payment plans. So we accept in AFK, for example, 5 payments, right? That's something unique that, a lot of students really enjoy with us because they tell us afterwards, like, I really like that you have that. It really helps that we could, takes the load off a bit. So we're happy to continue doing it, to make sure it's convenient for people to make the payments. So that's the money factor. The other factor would be, oh, sorry, I have this here. So here's the windmill thing. Oh, I can't delete this person's writing. It'll be on here forever. Okay, so you have to delete it. Okay, so here's the windmill pathway. So they give you 25,000 or up to 25,000 to do once you get approved and you're going for AFK. See you guys. So you got to get, but you do have to have a residence in Canada. There are steps. You have to be in Canada for it. So that's why I'm saying contact them. But I'm giving you a general overview. 25,000 to when you get approved, and then you could go take AFK. Once you pass the AFK, you get another 35,000 from CIBC to take your ACJ. Once you pass ACJ, you get a 50,000 loan for your NDECC. Okay. Then you could get a final 15,000 for your OSCE. Okay. So there's a basically you'll consult with them and they'll give you an overview. Okay. But there is support. That's what you have to know. Also, you could work a little bit, but I recommend that you try to aggressively do the process so that you could pass faster. That is better than, failing and then prolonging it, right? The faster you passed, the faster you could go and, like, the faster you become a dentist, the faster you make that income from dentistry, right? Which could be equivalent to 10,000 a month, right? So I would say invest in the beginning to get there faster, okay? That's why you could use this help, so you could not, maybe you could, you don't need to work, right? Now, the next factor, here's a strategy that I would say before I get to the factor for a lot of you that are not in Canada. Someone is saying, I got 15K at Windmill at Quebec. Okay, so that's good. And are you satisfied? Like, are they pleasant to work with? Because I worked with them a bit where we just did events, but I don't know how it is. Can you apply for these financial aid if you have only temporary? I don't think so. I think you need, I'm not sure. Please contact them. We'll give you the links. They're on our website. I would say try to get in touch with them. Okay. We're guiding you where you need to go, but you have to go now to them. I think you do need something that you are residing in Canada, right? Okay. So you can see, Omar, thank you for sending the links. So we're sending you the hope. Keep these we're sending you all the information. Keep these saved in your tabs. Okay, so only for permanent, someone is saying. All right, so anyone, I think I saw in the form that, let's see here, how many of you are not in Canada? So we have 43% of you not in Canada. So what would I say for you guys to do? Okay. Try to complete you can complete the AFK and ACJ from back home using our online courses. This is the strategy. I'm not saying it's the only way. So if you're already in Canada, that's perfect. That's fine too. But I'm just saying, if you're not in Canada, try to get your NDEB approval while you're back home. It's easier to do it when you're back home because you're close to your university. You could go in person, get things done, and send to the NDEB. You could study the AFK from back home with our course. We have it online, and you could study it from back home, and then you could come on a visitor visa, take the exam, and go back. So if you're in a place where you're kind of comfortable, you're living maybe with your family or you have support, right? You could do this. This is a way to do it. Some people have done it this way where they only come to Canada once they're ready for NDECC, especially people, I think, in Dubai. I've seen that before. They did the AFK from back home, ACJ from there, and then they came to they started coming when it was NDEC. You should be always working on your immigration process. Like you could get a residence, come and then go back if you have a job, right? So just think about it as a strategy. I'm not saying it's a better strategy. I'm just saying it is one for some people that works better, right? So keep that in mind. The other factor, so we talked about knowledge, talked about the money fact, and then we now time. This is probably the most important one, but figure out how much time you actually have. Okay. So cannot attend. Okay, so you have to figure out how much. Cannot attend classes. You need flexibility. That's where we come in. We're helping with this problem, actually. We developed a course where you could watch probably 95% of the major important content on your own time, okay? Because we have it, I don't want to go into the AFK course, that's for another time, but we have it set up in a way where you watch the videos on your own, then you come to a weekly live. So the main lecture is not delivered on a specific time date, because we found that to be an inferior way of doing it, because people miss it, people have technical issues, it's unfair. So we found that this is a better way to allow everybody to get the information that we want them to get for the exam, right? So we got you covered on flexibility, but that still means you need time to study the stuff we've given you, okay? And for example, some of you apply to the NDEB and you're waiting for approval. Why are you waiting? Consider taking the course during that time so that you could learn and start developing yourself. It is a competitive exam. Passing rates are 40%, okay? And you have to be realistic with yourself. Are you someone that has to work full-time, or can you work part-time, or can you not work at all? Do you have any family responsibilities? This is where I call it kind of a type 1, type 2 student, right? So if you're a type 1, I would say you have a lot more time. So you just graduated, it's a recent graduate, it's a recent grad, right? Doesn't have to work. What does that mean? So you could study full time and no family responsibilities. So this person, I would say, wow, you have a lot of time on your hands. You could probably pass the AFK in one cycle. Take the course and pass it. Then you have, of course, the other extreme, which is type 2, which would be someone that graduated 10 years ago and has to work to support their family and themselves. That could be part-time or full-time, but that's taking away from their study time. And of course, family responsibility. Okay. So this person, you have to be realistic now. It depends on your effort. You want to try to take one cycle, see if you could pass, but you might need even longer. You might need a year of studying because you actually don't have the same time this person has, and you guys are competing in the same exam. Okay. And then there's people in between, right? Where, okay, I'm a recent graduate, but I have to work, but like I'm married, but maybe I don't have kids. Like, so there's people in between those two types where that's, where you have to kind of gauge how much time you actually have. And you only know when you start studying for the AFK how much time it needs. Okay. So our AFK and ACJ course are mainly online, but they're done in a fashion that's systematic, that's, very comprehensive online. Okay, it's superior to any in-class course I think you could take. Okay, just like look at today, we have a snowstorm. In a typical in-class course, it'll probably be canceled. You probably can't make it. You'll probably miss out on the information. With our online strategy, you don't miss out on information. You have flexibility. We even have like audio reviews that I have, like I'm reviewing pharma with you. It's very innovative, I think, and we'll talk about it in another time. Then you have the issue of distance, which was, I think we covered this already with the online as well. A lot of people would come to our class and say, oh, we live all the way there. How can we come here? And then this is why the online course solves this problem as well. And I would say better than in-class, guaranteed. But you do have to figure out your way to Canada through the immigration process, so you could finally be here, right? So those are the obstacles, guys, that you may have. Hopefully, you kind of got my view of it, okay? And you could book a free consultation with our team. They'll, connect with you and try to help you figure out what your plan could be, okay? So now let me see if I could clear the board. Oh, there you go. I could. I've done that before. Okay. So, and you have to understand, we all have different obstacles. So everybody will certainly have something in their way. Some of you could be weaker in the knowledge. Some people could already have their financials figured out. Some people just don't have time. Everybody has something going on. Okay. But in order for you to do the best and pass, you have to overcome these obstacles. Okay. You have to. It won't be easy, but I want to remind people this is a choice, right? And and I actually like anyone that's thinking of this journey has, maybe you could say it's they want to improve their situation probably, right? So you're thinking you are right now, let's say you're here, right? And maybe you're comfortable. You're in a spot where you're kind of happy with yourself, okay? Things are going okay. Just know that if you want to do this, it's kind of a business investing move. Things will go down, or you could call it growing pains, right? Like it's going to be painful for a while because you're going to go down now. You're not a dentist anymore for a while. You have to look for other regular jobs. You have to study again, but the outcome is higher, right? So this is the pathway, the journey you're going to go on to. And of course, I admire anyone that is taking this journey. For me, I think it was easier because I already had a citizenship. I was raised in Canada, right? So I don't know, when I look at how everyone else is trying to go through the immigration process, going to this new country that you don't know, where for me, I said it was easier because I was raised here. I find that admirable. It's an adventure risk move. It's a business move for you guys. Because you could stay here if you're comfortable, that's fine. That you have to think, is this journey worth it for you? Right? Is that journey something you want to do? You have to have this in your head that it will go down from where you are. Okay? You're going to go through a lot of pressure. You're going to go through a lot of studying, a lot of obstacles. You might come here and work a security guard or something, or doing coffee, whatever you find if you need to work, right? Or you're going to have all these obstacles, but when you're done, you're going to be elevating your outcome, right? Okay. So I just want to make sure you guys understand that. And if you have any questions about is it worth it or not, you could ask me and I'll give you the transparent answers of what to expect. If you're thinking, do I want to be a dentist in Canada in the first place? Do I want to go through that problems? Ask me in the Q&A. Okay. So now we could summarize that pretty much everything will start with applying to the NDEB and taking the AFK and or ADAT if you want to take the ADAT as well. Remember though, plan how you are coming to Canada. Keep working on your immigration in parallel as well. Okay. So you could take the AFK and ACJ exams in some other countries too. You could look that up, but you could prepare for them online and then come and take them. Okay, when you come, even plan, where are you going? Are you coming to Ontario, Ottawa? Are you coming to Mississauga, where the skill centers are, right? Okay. And you could consult our immigration expert on our website if you like. So we have the immigration, we work with some people in immigration that could help you. So now let's dive into the direct pathway. So as a review, I think you guys got the point, right? It's no longer skills now, it's NDECC, sorry. And when you take the AFK course with us and do the AFK, everyone that's done the AFK course with us that has taken the INBDE has passed it, okay? Then the ADAT as well, we have a supplemental course if you want. So sometimes a good overall strategy is like, I'm going to take the Scholars AFK course. Let's say you take March 2024. You do AFK, you do ADAT, you do IMBDE if you want to expand to the US, if you're thinking you might want to go to the US, right? So you're using one course, one knowledge for all three exams, then you see which one you want, right? That is some people's also strategies. Okay. So let's talk about application to the NDEB. This is some people are asking me, you're saying it was kind of tough. What's tough about it? I'll show you, okay? So I would say do this ASAP. Everyone should do this. There's no reason not to do it. It doesn't expire, okay? Get it done early, have an account, and get approved. You don't know what kind of rejections you're going to get along the way. So, and it's easier actually to do it before you come to Canada because at least if you're close to your university, you could go do things yourself. Okay? So you have to make an account, right? So go to the NDEB website and create an account. There's a fee to creating an account. I think it's probably 800 to 1,000. You just need an ID. Now, you have to send in documents. They're going to give you a list of documents. They want your dental degree. Okay? You create a notarized copy. What does a notarized copy mean? You could either go to a lawyer or to a notary public. A notary public, okay? In Canada. And what they will do is they'll take your document, they will photocopy it. Okay, once they photocopy your document, now they have a photocopy, they will stamp it with their own stamp. They have to photocopy it because they're allowed to say, I did it myself, and this is a duplicate of this. You can't bring them a photocopy. Okay, they'll say nope. So they will take your original photocopy and just say this is a true replica of the original. All right, so that's called a notarized copy. Then a translation, because if your degree is not in English, it needs to be translated. Okay. Your marked transcripts from the university and also a translation. So you want two of these, one that's translated and one that is the original sealed from the university. We're going to go, okay. The confirmation degree, also from the university. This is something that the NDEB gives you. And they're asking now, I think, for a good standing if you have worked in certain countries. Okay. So some people think the more countries I worked in, the better. So if you worked in 3 countries, you have to, and you told the NDEB you worked in 3 countries, then you have to get the good standing from those 3 countries. Okay. So keep things simple if you haven't. Luckily for me, I actually didn't work in Syria. I just finished my university and came right away, so I didn't have to get that. Okay. Yeah, you had to send them, right, Janice? Yeah. So why do I have these in blue? Because these are the things that are kind of annoying that have to be sent directly from your university to the NDEB. And, you know, depending on which university you're from, if you're from a university, you know, some universities don't even like communicate with anybody. Like, do they even have an email? Like, so I just feel like, is that clear? Yeah, I want to clear all of it. How come it's not clear? Oh, because it's on the PowerPoint. Yeah. All right, never mind. You know, so now these are the documents. These are the 2 ones have to be sent directly from the university. Let me go through one of these, through these. So as I mentioned, your degree, you have your original degree. You go to a notary public or lawyer, they're going to photocopy it and create a copy and give you a specific sticker. And that's called now the notarized copy. So that is something you send to the NDEB. Okay. Then you want another copy, preferably. Okay, another copy. So you can even get another notarized copy. It would be probably even better. That copy, you want it to be translated if it's not in English. So now this, you have to understand this part, okay? Because I made a mistake here, so maybe like someone else is going to make it, so I'll probably avoid it. The copy of the degree with its translation, right? You cannot consider that the degree and the translation. Okay? So this entire thing, the copy of the degree and the translation, is all referred to as translation. Okay? So you still have to send a separate notarized degree copy. Okay? That's how they told me when I was trying to do it. They didn't accept this. Sorry, they didn't accept this piece as a degree copy. It's called, maybe because it goes to different departments. So maybe this copy is a translation and goes somewhere, and then there's someone else working on the degree, right? So just make sure you send them separately. Is that clear? Anyone confused there? So back at my time when I was doing it, I had to mail these. So I don't think they have a digital format. Um that could be tampered with, right? So you have to mail them in, I think. Someone is saying not clear. So please tell me which part was not clear. Do you have to get the translated copy notarized too? So for me, I actually had my copy of the degree in Syria translated already, and I brought it with me and it worked. However, if you can avoid that, why not? If you're here in Canada, I would say um, get it notarized just in case, you know. I didn't know better, so I sent what I sent was this thing, right? It's getting a little bit messy. Let me try to um, erase things here. So what I sent was this, and I hope that that'll just work for both. They said, no, we will accept this as a translation, but we still need a notarized copy. So it worked for me. This one was not notarized, but I would say for you guys, like if you know this, maybe just get everything notarized is probably safer. A question is, do I have to do the same thing for ADAT? So I don't have actual experience with the ADA. So, I mean, the ADAT, I haven't applied for that. So it's probably going to be similar. What I understood, it's faster. It's probably like a 3-week process. So it doesn't take too long as the NDEB. Okay. Question, can you only notarize your documents in Canada? I think if you do it in another country, you have to go to the embassy, to the Canadian embassy. Okay. Look into, if you're not in Canada, try to seek out a lawyer or someone that knows this stuff. I'm pretty sure there's professionals in the countries that know how to get this stuff done properly. You'll have to consult with them, right? They might go and take your documents to the embassy, get it notarized. Okay. So you're going to make an account. We said it's like around 900, right? Someone said dental degree. We said mark transcripts. And then these two things are the two annoying things that have to be sent from the university directly to the NDEB. Okay. So what is this confirmation degree? So this is the document the NDEB gives you that has two parts, the top part and the lower part. Okay. What you have to do is you have to fill up the top part. So the top part is filled up by you. Then you have to send it to your university. Then your university has to be nice and to fill up the bottom part. Then the university has to send it along with your transcripts, original copy of their transcripts. You guys know what transcripts are? They're like your scores from all the years. Okay. And they put it in a sealed envelope and then they send that to the NDEB. Okay. So, I mean, you can see how a lot of things could go wrong. So, first of all, your university has to fill up this information in a way that matches the information you filled. So if you put your date of graduation, your university has to put the proper date as well. Then your university has to seal it and actually send it out to the proper address. So two things could go wrong. Now, if you are in Canada and you need to get this done, if you have a friend there or a family member, They could probably help guide the university. Go to the university and tell the university, oh, please fill in here this date so that it's matching because you guys are putting in the wrong thing. Or sometimes you have like 3 dates, and you don't know which one they wanted, right? So as long as you guys are matching. And if the university doesn't do this, like where they ship the document, just tell them to seal it and have someone ship it on their behalf, right, to the NDEB. I had one student before tell me, or one person tell me that they received this envelope to their house, they opened it to check, and then they sent it back to the NDEB. I'm like, no, you're not supposed to open it. The whole point is that it's sealed. Okay. So if that happens where this envelope comes to you, do not open it. Okay. You're not supposed to open it. All right. It's supposed to be sealed and goes directly to the NDEB. Okay, so that's the confirmation degree. Now, once you applied, you wait for your approval. You cannot apply for exams without approval, obviously. The NDEB has stated before it takes 22 weeks, so 5 to 6 months. I've heard that's been faster now, so good thing, hopefully. Now, what do you do while you're waiting? Do you waste time or do you start studying if you're serious about this journey? Of course, I promote trying to get done faster because once you're a dentist, you could make up everything you've done very quickly. So you want to try to become a dentist as fast as you can, right? In Canada. Again, book a free consult. Our team members will book a phone consult with you and discuss with you your options and put a plan for you. Okay. No, so the 900 for opening the account, that's only for opening the account. However, you do have to pay the exam fee again if you fail. So the account is once. Okay. Opening the account is once. So you go to the NDEB website. I think I found it under resources, creating your NDEB profile. Then they have a guide. How to book a free consultation. Omar's leaving the link right above your text. So you could book there. Okay. And also, if you go to the website under equivalency process, I think they have something called required documents. And the NDEB has a service now where you select your country and it tells you what you need. Guys, like this is great. They're helping, right? So, and you could even book a consult with them to make sure you got the right documents, right? So I would say take advantage of this as well. Book one with the NDEB if you're still confused. If someone was saying they haven't been approved for 1.5 years, maybe contact them and book a consult as well and check what your country needs. So once you have your documents in, you'll see in your account, you'll see that it says either received or not received or review or rejected or approved. Your job is to wait and hopefully get it approved. And then now you could apply for the AFK exam finally. And I would say you should have been already studying for it so everything lines up well. A lot of people start the AFK course without getting approved. They get approved during the course, then they get into the exam and everything lines up well as for them. Now, if you have any issues, call the NDEB or email them. There's other alternative ways through lawyers that you could get help, but don't rely on these only if you're an actual like emergency, like your university got defeated or something, or there's war and there's no way you can get your document, then you could try to find custom other ways to do it. A little overview of the exams. The AFK is a 200 question MCQ exam. That orientation is coming up in Feb. We're going to talk about it in more detail. It's going to be fun. I'm going to give you good coaching ideas for it. The ACJ is mainly clinical cases. They'll get photos. You'll get x-rays. You have to find caries. You have to find calculus. It's a fun exam, but you could fail it. So you need the strategy. It's a very risky exam, right? So you want to make sure you learn the right strategies and how to answer. NDECC is 2 components. This is a new thing they added. There's a skills part, which is 7 projects really, but 1 is infection control. So they're going to monitor you. This is where you have to drill. We have a course for that as well, and it's going very well. And then situational judgment is the interaction with patients. They want to check your professionalism, your communication. How do you handle and interview patients? What questions you ask, that kind of thing. And then once you're done that, you get to the board certificate OSCE exam. So we're pretty much done. important timelines and dates you guys have to check. Okay. Know when your documents you'll receive. So hopefully you could kind of predict maybe in a few months when you'll get approved. But I think now it's a little bit unpredictable. You want to know the AFK exam dates. So usually they're in Feb and August. That's when the AFK exams happen. Okay. The course starts in March 4th, 2024. Now, this is very important. Please pay attention. Just kind of like an overview for the AFK as well, like a little introduction. What are the important dates? Know the exam dates. They're usually in Feb and August. Know the registration opening date. Okay. There's two dates. There's when does the registration open and when is the deadline or close? Now, what do you guys think is more important usually when you go somewhere to book something? What's more important, the open or the close? I mean, usually I would say in a regular, the deadline's kind of important. Oh, I have to make it by then, right? But whoever has experience with this whole process will know. Why was I muted? Yeah. So you'll know in this specific process, in this specific community, the opening date is more important. Why? Guys, so many problems. Okay, it opens at, let's say it opens at 10 a.m. Sometimes 10:30 books are the seats are booked. Okay, that's it. So the opening date is very important. Actually, the last ACJ registration happened just a few days ago. Okay, the results came out. Just that's irrelevant. We got a good passing rate there. But the ACJ exam registration opened, and they said it would open at 10, but it opened at 9. I mean, I don't know why that happened, but people that went in before 10 were lucky, and they're like, oh, look, it's open, and they start registering before the people that actually came on time. So I would recommend know the registration opening date and be early. Okay. The registration closing date, if there's seats left over, it's good to know. Okay. And then know your course start dates as well, so everything could be aligned together. Okay, we're done. I'm just going to give you the last tip so that you probably a little bit, if you're confused. If you haven't done anything, for those people that come here and they're like, I'm just here to learn about the NDEB, I haven't started anything. What should I do? Okay. For those people, open an NDEB account. Work on getting approved. Okay. Watch those document videos again, get approved. Plan your immigration, see how you're going to get here. So eventually you want that to be moving. If that's all working out, start thinking when to prepare for your AFK. Prepare for the AFK that you think you will be taking. So you want to predict and prepare for it. Okay. If you have more time, open an account for Adat as well, so that you have that university pathway open. Okay. I'm going to draw you guys a timeline here that usually happens. Okay. AFK course. Let's say course. Put usually here. Let me draw it in a different way. Give you a quick timeline here. Okay. Let's look at Feb and August. Right? That's when the AFK exams happen. Then our course is usually starting in March and September. So the September course is preparing you ideally for the Feb that's coming after. Okay. And the March course, let me use some different colors here so you're not all. So I'll put the blue and the courses in blue. So the March course is preparing you for the August, and the September course is preparing you for Feb. Okay. Now, if someone is taking the March course for August, sometimes they might not, if they're a type 2 student and they feel like they need more time, sometimes they take the March and repeat the September for Feb, you know? So someone could be studying like this long. We do have a discounted repeat for our alumni students to help them if they need that time. Okay. I'm going to put ADAT in black. ADAT opens from March to August. Okay, so I'm just kind of giving you an idea. So, okay, now the AFK registration happens randomly. It could happen. So I'm going to put the registration opening in green. Okay, let's look for green. Yeah, that's green. So the registration opening could be either in April or March, or it could be October, usually. Sometimes could be early, or it could be as late as November, like somewhere here. So it's very difficult to predict when they're going to do it. Okay. So how many things has to go right in a way? So you have to think about these things. Okay. Let me now give a different color. Let's say you applied to the NDEB in Jan. Or let's give it more time. Let's say you applied to the NDEB. Let's say you did it in October of 2023. Okay. So if you're predicting like October, November, December, Jan, Feb, maybe you'll get approved, hopefully by March. And let's say the registration date was in March. So you have to get approved. Then after getting approved, you have to get a seat, right? What's the third thing that has to go right? You have to be prepared, right? So there's three things. You have to get approved. You have to get a seat, and you have to be prepared. Right? So what's the plan? What would you do? Here's what is in your power. If you sent your documents and you don't know what's the seat going to be, all you can do is try to get prepared at least. Now, if you wait for step 1 and 2 to happen, you're already unprepared. Does that make sense? So let's say you're waiting for step 1 to be guaranteed and you lost a month and a half of studying or a month of studying. Then you wanted to get prepared. You're already unprepared. You already lost step 3. Okay? This is why I don't look. If someone is serious about this process, like there's no backing out. Any preparation is going to help you in your future. Even if you prepared from March to August and you couldn't get a seat, which a lot of people in our class, you know, they eventually they don't get a seat, but they continue. They know, okay, well, I can still go for the Feb, but I'm already done one cycle. That's good. I know what I have to face. They could all either self-study, right? They could self-study or come back for our last month package that we have for our alumni. So we have a last month package where you could come back, review, and do mocks, or they could come back for a repeat at a discount, right? So 40% discount for repeaters. So there's options, but they're increasing their chance of passing. And you'll see how sometimes it happens where you get a seat like a month or two before the exam. Someone withdraws and you're on a waiting list and you get a seat. What I say is be prepared, do what you can do. If you're already approved, some of you are approved, so you're already done step 1. Now it's about the seat. So start getting prepared, okay? And hope to get, if you do get a seat, you want to be prepared. That's the strategy, right? Then if you don't get a seat, then you'll see what you could do. Maybe you'll finish the course, and then that way, the next cycle, you could come back for the mocks and review. So it's better to be prepared. It's the worst. It's one of the really bad experiences when someone tells me, I got a seat, I have 3 months left, what do I do now? And then they come to me for a solution. I go like, well, you're already late. Like, what do you want me to do? Right? So the concept is do the right thing, get prepared. It's always accumulative. Okay. And you know, I wish I could bring some AFK students from our cycle here to talk to you guys, to tell you how important these concepts are, how much work they have to do, how much studying there is, but how much they're also enjoying the course because they're learning so much and they're feedback is great, but they have an exam. I don't want to bother them, right? So they have an exam coming up, and I'm not. Maybe after I could invite them to talk to you guys, but you should see the WhatsApp group. It's awesome. Okay, so anyway, I hope I gave you an overview of your first initial steps. I'm not going to go detailed into ACJ right now, but I'll take now the Q&A. Okay. So thank you everybody for coming and attending and staying this far with me. And I want to listen to your questions and I'll try to answer everything as best as I can.